Welcome to the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket Arik, Rewatch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Eric, and to my right, your left, my noble, novel, notable, nifty, nerdy, nervy, nimble, nubile, nutty, nurturing, nature-loving, next-level, naptastic, non-toxic, non-conformist wife and co-host. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket. Stay alive, maybe. Give it up for Ketryn Porter.
That was impressive.
Thank you.
How long did it take you to memorize that? I'm serious.
I write it right before we do the watch along, and then when I went to the store to get beer, I just ran it in my head a couple times.
That's impressive. My perimenopausal brain fog doesn't allow me to do that anymore. But
that's why I handle this part.
That was very impressive.
How's everybody doing? We're here to talk about Buffy season 2, episode 14, Innocence.
Yikes!
Wow, this one was
yikes! Yoinks! Yanks! Yucks.
This was a powerhouse episode, as I mentioned in our watch along. We do a watch along on Patreon before we do these. $5 a month gets you the watch along. Trivia Crypt minisode. This was one I actually remembered specific scenes. Like I remembered all the dialogue. So Ted, I remembered, and then the scene where Angel is just cruel to Buffy. I remembered every word of that, and I don't know why. It's like the really emotionally traumatic stuff is just burned into my soul from the show. I don't remember anything about season 2 at all, but I remembered that episode and I remembered that specific scene.
Yeah, it's
so good, so effective. One I would have skipped based on how I'm feeling, like in the world and still dealing with our dog. Maybe didn't have this one in me tonight.
But you did good.
But it was fucking phenomenally written. So good.
But I do, and this is not a dig. It's just something interesting. Like you can see the remnants of my cry face. I don't know that enjoyment is the right word. Catharsis, I think, is the closest to it. That's why I do like watching things that pull at my emotions, even if they make me very sad. It feels like a cleansing, I think. And Eric does not experience that desire to have that particular type of cleansing. And I did notice the points in our watch along where you were actively dissociating. Fuck.
There's a hair in the gate. Can you see that?
I see, yeah. Like you're dissociating.
The
from
stunt
the
double's
scene.
hair's not tall enough.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I can see the stunt double's face. I'm like, why the fuck do you care?
Because it's a
no, like you're trying.
My emotional
to keep
bandwidth is threadbare.
Distance. Yeah, but we definitely watch these types of episodes differently because I think for me, I can't compartmentalize. So it's like, it's like getting into a cold pool. I'm not the kind of person who like steps in, takes a half an hour to get into a pool. I'm like, it's cold. I'm just going to jump in and then I'll swim around in it and I'll get used to it. And that's what we're going to do.
No, that is definitely me. I'm up to the knees.
Yeah.
I spend the first part of the party on the stairs, just up to my knees.
You just got to jump in.
Then you get the thighs comfortable. Then you drop the newts in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't remember this show getting this good, this emotionally resonant this early. I've enjoyed this season. I think this is a strong season. I think it's a fantastic
Angel
season.
Stunt Double's hair is shorter than his. Shut the what?
That's so $5 a month. You can hear me make these kinds of observations. My push broom here is getting pretty shaggy. I'm noticing.
What are you dissociating from right now?
Being called out for dissociating, I think. But yeah, I didn't remember the show getting this good this early. I season 1 I liked better than I remembered it. Season 2 so far I've really enjoyed. A couple notable turds in the punch bowl, but this was as deep, like I said, as resonant, as emotionally powerful as the show gets, I think.
Yeah.
And we're already here, and it's just made me very excited to see the rest of the season, because now, spoilers, I think we now understand who the big bad of the season is.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where this goes from here. I don't remember much of what season 3 is.
Well, there's going to be a lot more dissociating to come.
Oh boy. Yeah. Cause that's the thing we talked about. It was Spike is scary, but he's like an animal.
Well, before we get into it, let's do Spell, and then we can talk about all of it, because I want to hear your take on Spike, because I loved what you said about him being an animal. Let's do it when we get to it. So I didn't do a spell necessarily this time. This is my reference notebook. So this is all of the research that I've done that I then use to craft spells that I write in my grimoire. And something tells me now that Angelus is back that Buffy is going to need a lot of protection. I don't know that some crucifixes and strands of garlic are going to do the trick. So I'm going to share my correspondence page for protection. It is just a list of various things that represent protection. Now, this is by far not even close to an exhaustive list, but it's definitely where she can start.
Yeah. And I did get most of the spells posted on our Patreon.
I still got to do my birthday spell.
Yeah, the birthday spell I didn't get, but I think several of the spells are in there. If you go into the collections section of our Patreon, you'll find a whole section of just the spells. Ketryn's handwritten notes from her private grimoire. It's pretty freaking cool. Pretty cool resource. So you'll be sharing that as well.
Yeah. So
did you want to share any highlights from that while we're here for the listeners, people that aren't on Patreon?
Sure. Well, there's everything from symbols that you can write on things to obviously herbs and stones that correspond with protection. I've also listed certain goddesses and gods that you can call upon for protection. So it's really from all different cultures and practices and religions, which is one of my favorite things about witchcraft does not ask you to
subscribe to any specific belief system.
Yeah. So any of these things can be incorporated into your own spells. A lot of people will do things like take a candle and carve a symbol of protection into the candle, perhaps anoint the candle with an oil that has to do with protection. And then while the candle is burning, meditate on it surrounding you with a protective ball of light, that kind of stuff. So those are how you can write your own spells. So as we're going through, I won't just share my spells anymore. I'll share some of my references and resources,
the building blocks
in case anyone wants to think about writing their own spells. And I can share with you how I do it. I tend to be a word witch, so I tend to write a lot of mantras, poems, spells, things to say while doing it. So yeah.
Can I just say you look really lovely tonight? I love your outfit. I love your hair back and your barrettes. Like, I just think the whole thing is really working tonight.
Thank you. You can thank Kristen, one of my best friends who just got married this weekend, for these in my little bridesmaid goodie bag.
Aw. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, do you want to get into this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's kick it off.
We open on Spike, who, now that Bangel knows where they are, is telling Drew, like, yo, we got to get out of here. Both Drew and the Drudge, if you will, are like, I don't think we need to leave. Like, it's fine. The judge is kneeling weirdly, sucking energy out of the air or something. And
Can you say this guy he's not the judge, he's the dud.
Yeah.
This guy really goes nowhere.
Hanging out with him is drudgery.
Yes.
Judgery.
Oh, I judge dread spending time with this guy.
Yeah. And so, Spike's rolling around. We got to get out of here. The judge is
You didn't like his chair.
No, I don't think that's the chair Spike would have.
You have something a little more epic?
I really do. Maybe that's the one that he stole initially. But like, I would picture him more in like a gothic wheelchair. I was disappointed, Spike. You can do better. All of a sudden, Drew collapses into one of her fits. And we're like, oh my gosh.
We're back to this. We loved her so much last week because she was so like fire. Like I said, she was on energy drink. She was just like, she was cornholio. And now she's back to being sort of like, oh, I'm beset by visions.
But not quite. It's a fake out.
Psych!
Because as she's laying on the ground having a fit, a smile comes across her face and she laughs because whatever it is that's afflicting her, whatever vision she's seeing, is bringing her a bit of joy.
She's sensing, I think, that someone's returning to the roost.
Yeah.
The wayward son has made his way back to the flock. My metaphors are all over the place.
The wayward son has made it back to the flock. I mean, you didn't say anything wrong.
The prodigal sheep has returned to the roost.
Prodigal, that was the word. Yeah. We then go to Angel's cement palace and Buffy wakes up alone. It was fucking real. She just had probably one of the most vulnerable nights of her life. And to wake up alone, boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And she's probably spending the first couple minutes going, any minute, he's going to pop in the door with coffee and bagels, and we're going to have a romantic brunch and snuggle.
Yeah.
And then when a few minutes has gone by.
All she wanted to do was wake up next to him. It's heartbreaking. So we then see sort of like what was going on with Angel when he ran out into the rain. A woman comes out to see if he's okay. He stands hotly and she says, "Are you in pain?" And he says, "No, the pain is gone."
And his demeanor changes. It reminded me of when the creepy crawly was attacking Jonathan. And he was like, get it off me, get it off me. And then once he got droned, he was like, same shit.
Except it was much sexier when
Jonathan did it, yes, obviously.
And I thought this was really cool. Eric thought it was lame. I fucking loved it.
I didn't think it was lame. I think it was stupid, but it made me laugh.
There is a scientific explanation for it. So he bites this bitch because now he's Angelus.
She's smoking.
And she's smoking. And so when he comes up for air, he blows her smoke out of his mouth. That just tells me that he was so
out of practice.
No, I think he did it on purpose. He's like, I'm going to bite all the way in so that I'm hitting your windpipe where there is still smoke.
So he bit her so hard as to access her windpipe, and yet there's no blood on his mouth at all.
He's a professional.
This is so stupid.
He's a professional. It's like riding a bike.
It was without a doubt one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, but it was fun and stupid and cool, and I'm into it.
So now we see Buffy coming home into her bright morning of a house, and she tries to scuttle upstairs, but Joyce sees her. Joyce has no issue with her coming in early, which you pointed out because they had done the round robins. She's like, "How was Willow's?" Buffy backs up from her as if you pointed out on some subconscious level, like that she would think that Joyce would somehow know.
Would be like, I don't think it was conscious, but smell it on her. Most of the smells.
And just seeing how uncomfortable Buffy is holding on to this secret that it's like brimming out of her. And it's not even at this point the secret of like, oh, I had sex with my boyfriend last night, which you'd want to keep a secret, but there would be a buoyancy to it.
Right.
Now it's this like, I had sex with my boyfriend and he's gone.
There's an open-ended parenthesis on this that is not, there's no closure, there's a confusion, there's uncertainty.
And Joyce picks up on it in a really beautiful sort of like mom's intuition way.
You commented on the women's intuition a lot in this episode.
Yeah, it's pretty profound and I think very accurate. I think this very specific type of pain is visible to specifically other women that have felt it. You can see it.
Yeah.
You know.
And when we get into more, as Buffy starts to put the pieces together, there's a lot to be said about all of the things that contribute to her pain, hurt, betrayal, anguish.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe save some of that discussion.
So now we got to go to the library, and the Scoobies have been waiting for Buffy and Angel to come back. They never did. So they're worried about where they are. You know, the judge has been assembled as far as they assume. And so did the judge kill them? And
we also got Buffy's dream in there.
Buffy's dream. Yeah. They're like
factoring all that in.
Exactly. And so Cordelia understandably is like, you know, what are we going to do? We need to prepare. Whereas Xander just kind of wants to go off half cocked, which is ridiculous. But you did point out that was the energy that ended up saving Buffy.
Yeah, that specific impulse from him is what led him to go find her in the puddle and give her CPR. So
yeah. And then Zordy is just like very insulty to each other, which I was just very over. I'm just like, shut up.
Because there's probably a confusion about like, Are they doing this as a cover so no one sniffs them out, most of the smells? Or are they at each other more because they're spending more time together? Yeah, I think they don't even know.
I don't think
if
they
it's
know.
a ruse or not.
Yeah, I don't think they know. And unfortunately, I think one of them insults the other, and now the other one has to arm themselves for the next exchange, and it just goes on forever and ever in a way that it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
Which they do kind of eventually get there, but yeah, that's all that this felt like to me. I was like, Buffy and Angel didn't check in.
Right.
Yeah, like shut the fuck up was how it felt.
Go to class, Ellen.
Willow does take Xander's side, but it doesn't end up coming to fruition because Buffy comes in. Very somber, hoping that Angel is there. He is not. And what she says is they had to hide and they got split up. Like, she clearly doesn't want to say what actually happened. Obviously,
Right.
The fact that she's experiencing embarrassment is also just like so fucking heartbreaking. And she says, I did fight the judge. He's assembled. He's really fucking strong. This is not looking good.
And she says that, like, when I kicked him, I felt a little jolt.
They realize, okay, they need to find his weak spot, and Cordy and Xander leave by insulting each other. And I was like, goodbye. See ya. Get out.
Take this outside.
So Billow is talking about being worried about Angel. Buffy is also like being very not chilly to Willow, but just
she's
very
guarded.
Closed
she's
off.
terse.
She's guarded. Yeah. And we see that Jenny is listening very carefully and creepily.
And doing a weird piece of business that I appreciated, where she's holding the top of her coffee mug and then she's like diddling her fingers over the top.
Almost maniacally a little bit.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
So now we go back to the lair, and Drusilla is splayed out on the table, naming all the stars like George Foreman. She says, I named all the stars the same name. And there's
I was like, where's this guy?
And there's terrible confusion, she says.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why. What a fucking weirdo. And then Angelus saunters in. And what I said in the watch along, I can't imagine, because I didn't watch these when they were live. I got to binge them on DVDs. I cannot fucking imagine the absolute like vibrations that people must have been feeling seeing David Boreanaz play this very different character.
Right.
And most people, this is probably the only thing they ever saw him in.
At that point, yeah. Not counting his guest turn on Married with Children.
Yeah. To see him shift and to step into these shoes that fit him like a glove must have been wild.
He's so playful, and that's what makes him so menacing.
Obviously, Spike is like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. And he sicks the judge on him to burn him up. And nothing happens because the judge says there's no humanity in this one. Dun, dun, dun.
Which was such good writing for a number of reasons. One, Drew and Spike don't have to wonder if he's playing them. I said it reminded me of that moment in the Avengers when Vision picks up the hammer. Mm-hmm. We know he's worthy.
Like,
we know he's
great.
a good guy.
Yeah.
Because we've already established that those are the rules. So if he can't fool the judge.
Yeah.
So now they can just go, all right, well, I guess you're back. And Drusilla could not be happier.
Oh my God. And
Holy
she
shit.
is horny.
Yeah.
And Spike is also very excited. And she's very excited to be family again. What we know of her lore, that, and we'll get into it more, that Angelus didn't just kill her, he drove her insane, and like
killed all her family.
And killed all her family. The Drusilla that we're getting now, this like cuckoo banana lady, is not the vampire she would have been had somebody else sired her.
Right.
And that is fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
That's truly terrifying. And it gives us a glimpse into like the type of hunter that Angelus is. But we have some more fun interactions. So,
yeah, he does this thing where he snarls and he gets right up in Spike's face. He kisses him. And I'm like,
just so menacing.
This bisexual menage a trois
Right?
was probably so fun in its prime.
Yes.
And they're hinting at what could be again. I think that's definitely what Drew's looking to be filled from both ends.
Yeah.
Again.
A billion
these
%.
two.
Yeah.
And
frankly,
Spike,
the judge can get in there too if he wants.
that big head to use.
Yeah. So Spike is saying we're going to destroy the world, and Angel is like, hold that thought. I'd like to get a little bit more intricate with it. You know, I want to kill the Slayer, and
Spike's like, yeah, well, she's in the world, so
yeah,
we'll cover that.
Spike is giving like snarky aunt at Thanksgiving.
I was gonna say he is a little bit of a bitch in this episode.
Yeah, like he's giving like your childless aunt who's sitting in the corner at Thanksgiving, just like throwing snark darts at everyone in the room, and I'm here for it. I love it. No notes. It's just,
but he is
what
not
an interesting.
He is not the top dog.
No,
and he's physically diminished.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling this is the joy of his homecoming is going to be short lived because I think Spike is going to feel pushed aside.
Mm-hmm.
I predict.
Well, he has competition now.
He's got competition, and he's not even at his full strength to be able to assert himself.
Yeah. So we go back to the library. The basic gist of this scene is that Buffy went home to grab something, and she's extra wigged out by her dreams. That's really kind of all we need to know from this scene. Xander then meets Cordy in the stacks, and he kind of apologizes to her for being such a snarky bitch earlier, which I appreciated. Cordy is like, I don't want to make up, but I do want to make out, or whatever.
Well, but she has a really great moment too, where she's like, I get it. You were like all swept up in being the White Knight to go save your beloved Buffy.
Mm-hmm. You would never die for me.
Right. Which I thought was unfair because he did dive onto a flaming gurney to try and rescue her in Some Assembly Required. She's feeling jealous.
She's feeling jealous. Yeah. Yeah, she's feeling jealous. That's it.
There's a lot of that going around this episode.
Yeah, because then they kiss and Willow catches them and they run out into the hallway, and Willow is heartbroken. Like, even though she's developing feelings for Oz, like, her relationship with Xander is still probably the most important relationship in her life. She's
coming at her from all sides, really, because you're my best friend and you kept this a secret from me.
Yeah.
And I knew something was up.
You're my best friend and I've been in love with you.
And then you hate her. We hate her. You've betrayed me by making out with the person that we hate. And then she has this line. It was almost my favorite line of the episode, where she says,
"You'd rather be with someone you hate than be with me."
This fucking episode, dude.
This episode just keeps kicking me in the heart.
Yeah.
Every few lines.
Buffy walks home, but she doesn't go inside. She turns around and she goes to Angel's instead, which is empty.
She did in one of the What's My Lines. She didn't go home. She went to sleep in Angel's place because that place made her feel safer than her own home. Yeah. And I think she's also hoping that she'll run into Angel.
Okay. So here's the scene where Angel is a monster. He gets out of the shower like nothing happened.
In his leather pants.
Super aloof. She says, "Where were you?" He says, "What? I took off."
But what's funny is he hugs her and he plays somewhat happy to see her for a second. He doesn't start right in with the abuse.
Yeah. Because I think indifference is so much more painful than hate. So I think him just kind of being like, "Yeah, I'll hug you." What? Like, that's worse.
Well, I think he played those first couple beats with some attempt at warmth so he could draw her further in, lift her up so she has farther to fall when he drops the hammer on her. My metaphors are all over the place today.
But we're all with you.
He's gonna drop the prodigal sheep on her and it's gonna land with a thud.
He ends up insulting her in so many heartbreaking ways. He insults whether or not she was good in bed. He then makes her feel like one of many, just a notch on his bedpost. It was awful. And the thing that I wanted to look up, we try to avoid talking about Toxweasel, but like all I could think about was Toxweasel during this scene because it was a perfect rapier blade of a scene in terms of what the emotional heartstrings that he pulled at specifically in my heart were so accurate.
Was he the writer on this episode?
Yes. And I think, well, let me finish what I was saying. I think the reason also that this is so hard to watch is because Angel's mode of torture is psychological. And the stories that have since come out about Set was that was very much Joss Whedon's MO.
Yeah, I was going to say, so he knows how to write a gaslighter.
Yes.
Because he
is a gaslighter. And that this scene is already very hard to watch. I do not think that there is a woman identifying person that does not understand some piece of this. And it was so accurate and so fucking painful.
But you notice the emphasis in the scene was on him and not on her pain. Her pain was almost taken for granted.
Mm-hmm.
The emphasis of this scene, the meat of this scene, is in his delight in torturing her, which is perverse when you know what
we know. Yeah. Buffy says, "Angel, I love you." And he says, "Love you too. I'll call you." In a tone of voice that many a woman has heard.
Yeah.
So now we go to Creepo Uncle talking to Jenny about vengeance and just about their bloodline of vengeance, which we've kind of already covered in other scenes. But Jenny is now at the point where she's like, this genuinely doesn't make sense anymore.
Right.
Like, other people are going to die for a level of vengeance that, like, nobody that's currently alive even experience. Like, it's so old. Like, we don't even know what we're doing, and these are actual real innocent people.
And to him, the stakes of the vengeance outweigh everything else. It doesn't matter who else gets hurt. It doesn't matter who else dies. This is our mission.
We also learn in this scene, like, when Jenny knew what. So she was sent here to watch Buffy because we can ascertain that the elder woman in their tribe who, you know, makes predictions has probably been getting a lot of, like, messages about Angel throughout his time being ensouled, checking on it, making sure he's still, you know, ensouled and tortured. And it's not until Buffy comes into the picture that the elder woman clearly has a vision and says, "I need you to go watch this chick, not Angel. I need you to go watch this chick."
Well, I have a little bit of an issue with this because if you remember in the last episode, she tells the uncle, there is a girl.
There is what?
A girl.
What? How could you let this happen? If this girl gives him 1 minute of happiness, it is 1 minute too much.
She doesn't say, it's Buffy, my charge, my target, the person I'm watching. I think this was a little bit of muddy writing. I think when this thing was introduced, her mission was to keep an eye on Angel and make sure he suffers. And then they kind of slip it in that she was sent there to watch Buffy because she doesn't indicate that when she talks to the uncle in the last episode.
It works better this way. I'd rather get rid of that previous scene and keep this one. Okay. Because I think that this makes more sense to me. Willow left after, you know, she found out about Zordy. But then she comes back and she says, "I'm still mad at you, Xander. Like, we're not okay. But, like, obviously this takes precedence," which is so interesting because we just watched a scene where somebody was not able to put aside their feelings to do what was right. And then this is really well written. This is really good. Xander starts to formulate a plan, but then the lights go out. And we see Angel standing in the dark, in the shadows, tells Xander to go get the others. He then tells Willow to come closer. We see Xander's spidey sense in the hallway. He turns around, but he's not the one who first tells Willow to get away. Jenny pops out with cross in hand, but not before Angel grabs her. And Jenny says, "You're not Angel, are you?" And he says, "I have a message." Buffy appears, says, "Give it to me yourself."
Interesting. The word Angelus is never said.
Correct.
They never refer to him as Angelus. In this entire thing. He's always like, I'm finally Angel.
I'm finally Angel.
So I find all that very confusing.
Yeah, that is muddy to me. I agree with that.
So Buffy says, give it to me yourself.
Yeah, and he says that's not as fun as you finding the body of all of your friends. So we already know, like, he was never going to kill her first.
Right. Well, that's his MO, as we know from the Drusilla story.
He then says, dream on, schoolgirl. Which there were some clunker lines in this scene.
Yeah, there's another one that happens before that I'm going to bring up later.
Yeah,
so,
and it's just like this
they really
say
out.
less in this scene. Like, we didn't need that.
So this is where I think my point from before, Spike's scary, but he's like a ferocious animal.
Yes.
He's driven. He's target based.
He eats for sustenance.
He
enjoys it,
and
but
he's cruel and he's scary. But whereas I think Spike is an animal, Angel is a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get some stuff in a little bit that reinforces that. But yeah, the idea that, like, I'm not just gonna kill you. I'm not just gonna psychologically torture you. I'm gonna kill everyone that matters to you so that you have to live with that, and then I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. It's super fucked.
It's
super
so
fucked.
scary.
Xander manages to grab Jenny's cross and sort of sneak up behind Angel. And he just puts the cross in his face, just enough to, like, shock Angel away from Willow.
Snatch Willow away, yeah.
But he's not going to kill Buffy yet. He's going to kiss her.
This guy's kissing everybody.
Throw her aside.
He's kissing Spikes, kissing Buffy.
Just, my God. And then Buffy goes comatose, which we saw in I, Robot You, Jane. And we're going to see later that she carries so much weight that when it gets too heavy, she literally short circuits.
Down, yeah.
Which is, I thought I heard an animal outside. Which is foreshadowing. Back in the library, Giles isn't getting it. Giles isn't seeing what all the women can see, that the psychological torture has already begun on Buffy.
And that there's more to this than just Angel has turned bad.
Yes. It's why he turned bad.
Yeah. And Willow has a good spidey sense too. She's like, Jenny, how did you know to come out there with a cross and warn me to get away from him? What are you not telling us?
Yeah. So Giles keeps saying, Buffy, what happened? It must have been something that set him off. And Buffy leaves. Giles keeps pressing, and Willow says, Giles, shut up. And he still doesn't get it. It's wild that he still doesn't get it. It's so accurate and interesting. But
Willow's privy to information that the rest of them aren't. She and Buffy had the conversation, but I think I'm going to bang Angel. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to see him at bedtime. And none of the rest of them know that was on the table.
Xander tells them that he has an idea about the judge, but he's probably going to need Cordy's help for it.
And I'm going to need wheels.
Yeah.
And Cordy's like, great, use me for my car. And he's like, no, we're going to need bigger wheels than that. So then Willow responds
to say, Oz has a van.
That's her flex.
Yeah, that's her flex. Oz has a van. Okay. I have to talk about this insult that Xander gave because 1, I'm so sick of this. And 2, it makes no sense.
Right.
So he says, wear something trashy, and then looks her up and down and says, Now, this bothered me only because she's wearing, like, the most modest outfit we've seen her in.
Well, it's not, I mean, she's got a mini skirt because she was sitting on the table at the library earlier showing off them gams. So she's definitely showing some leg, but she looks very preppy. There's nothing trashy about it. She looks like she's be hanging out at a country club.
Yeah. Back at the lair, Spike is annoyed that Angel didn't just kill Buffy because, again, as you said, Spike is an animal. Angel is a fucking serial killer who's in it for the game. And Drew gets it. And Drew gets it because she experienced it.
She's been there, yeah.
And Angel has the fucking chilling line because he points out, he's like, you tried to kill her and you couldn't do it.
Right.
And he says, to kill this girl, you have to love her. And again, I don't want to think about who wrote this when I hear lines like that. I don't want to know who wrote this.
Because I think some of this is subconscious telling on himself. I don't think he knows what he's even
100.
saying. But yeah, his love is so toxic that it is punishing to his partner.
Yeah. So
his affection is a weapon. And that's fucked up.
We then cut to the bedroom scene. This is where I could tell Eric was like really trying to leave his own body, for sure. We cut to Buffy coming into her own room. She sees the buttercross necklace and turns away from it as if it's hurting her eyes, only to look down at her hand and see the ring he just gave her. And she just collapses on the bed and sobs.
And I said, at this point, what occurred to me was we are just as hurt and betrayed as she is. That's what's so effective about this is we remember last week how moved and touched we were when he gave her that ring, how hard we've been shipping them this season, how invested we are, how sad we were that he might have to take that arm on a ship and be gone for a year. And to flip it on us, we are exactly where she is.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking gut-wrenching.
Yeah. So now we cut to Buffy's dream where she is replaying their night together, which was so fucking real. And then they're in the cemetery. He's there during the day. And he says, you have to know what to see. And you pointed out in the watch along, you were like, oh, that's so clearly Angel.
Yeah, that's good Angel.
Yeah. We pan over to Jenny pulling a black veil off, and Buffy wakes up with a start. Cut to Buffy marching into school.
This was fucking wild.
Pushing Giles out of the way and slamming Jenny down on her desk by her throat in front of other students.
So should I get the principal?
That was wild. Absolutely wild. Thank God Snyder wasn't there.
Yeah.
She would have been expelled immediately.
Sure, he heard about it.
So Jenny comes clean. She comes clean. She said, I didn't know the specifics of the spell, which I believe her. And
because Giles comes to her defense. Giles is like, you can't just go accusing people of something. I understand you're upset, but you can't go at her like this.
And then she's like, no, she can. She's like, you know, my uncle told me to keep you two apart, but never told me what would happen if I didn't. And she's like, I swear I would have told you. I believe her. So Giles remains oblivious to what is being discussed, and then
but looking real hot.
He was looking really hot.
Giles looks so hot in this episode.
Yeah, you're like 2 episodes behind me, but you got there.
Well, I didn't think the episode you pointed him out, he just looked like Giles. For whatever reason, I don't know if he's moisturizing. I don't know if he put a new mousse in his hair. I don't know what his ensemble was a little more like
he and
casual.
Jenny are back together.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's just the glow he needed. But yeah, he was like looking fine.
Yeah.
I think I finally saw Giles as hot for the first time in this episode.
So Buffy wants Jenny to recurse him. She says, I can't. And she says, well, take me to someone who can. We then cut to Uncle Creepo.
Because he's like, I knew she would bring you to me.
'Tis Angel. An angel, as we know, don't fuck about. So we now cut to Oslo Zordy pulling up to the army house.
And
it's
a base. I think the word looking for his base.
I'm all about that bass.
Army house.
Army.
And Zordy is sneaking around, doesn't look remotely trashy, is actually wearing like full layers.
Yeah, she's like in professional slacks.
Yeah, and she looks like she's wearing one of those like blankets they give you in an emergency.
she like a Jiffy Pop waistcoat on.
Yeah, it was awful. They get held up by another soldier as they're trying to break in, and Xander has a great story. He's like, I'm on leave. I'm trying to impress this girl. And the reason you're going to help me is because you're not regulation. You left your post and you hold your gun like a sissy girl.
But I did clock that he was definitely like had his gun cocked at a jaunty angle. Like it did not look very professional.
Yeah, I did appreciate that they like.
It was for a reason.
Exactly.
And not just they cast an extra who's just like,
yeah.
Rudy Tooty, aim and shooty.
What was that?
Rudy Tooty, aim and shooty. It's a Brian Regan bit.
Oh.
Where he says, the bit is, why did they name it Walkie Talkie?
Walkie Talkie? Look, I'm walking and I'm talking. And this is the Rudy Tooty, aim and shoot.
That's funny. So they're Xander, when they get in, tells Cordy that the reason he formulated this plan was because he still remembers all the stuff from his Halloween changeover. To which I say, when's someone going to ask him if he really forgot everything he did? When he was
you
a
remember
hyena?
you remember all this army shit, but your hyena days are somehow a fog. I don't buy it.
I don't buy it. This is the dumbest exchange. And I went back and read it, so I know what she said. She did not say some girls. She says,
So does looking at guns really make girls want to have sex? That's scary.
and I just wrote,
Aren't you a girl?
aren't you a girl? Wouldn't you know that? And even if you were curious about that, that is so not a Cordy thing to ask. She would never like reveal that level of naivete.
There's stuff about girls that she doesn't know, but somehow Xander
That's
does know. Yeah, no, that
insane.
is crazy.
That was a really stupid line.
Right.
And I really hated it. And it was literally for the sole purpose of them getting the, I'm a 17-year-old boy. I look at linoleum and think of sex. Like, it was literally just to set that up.
I have a feeling you're not going to appreciate my choice of best line.
Yeah, probably not. So, it was just so I mean, no, I actually don't hate that line. I'm saying, like,
They
setup
had
was
to
so
engineer
dumb.
a
Yeah.
way to get us there.
Yeah. Waz is in the car and Willow wants to make out. And Oz says no, but in the most perfect, non-toxic, adorable, incredible way that somehow Willow is more infatuated with him not making out with her.
Yeah, I'm re-upping my sentiment from last episode. I want to watch a show where they're the main couple and they're in most of the scenes because they're just sublime. It's just, they have such good chemistry. The way he's written is so fucking cool. He's got so much depth. This is not his first trip around
No.
the sun at all.
That's something
this
that
guy's
Eric
been
and I-
here a while.
That's something Eric and I say is like, how many times do you think this person has been here? And, you know, any age, any, you know, demographic, we can usually
Oz
say
has been through several lifetimes
Been
with
here.
all the wisdom.
So this didn't make my favorite line, so I can say it, but he says something tells me you're trying to make Xander jealous. And then he says, and that's on the empty side. See, in my fantasy, when I'm kissing you, you're kissing me. Damn, dude.
And then he says, I can wait.
Damn. And Willow just gets that little smile on her
Mhm.
face. It was so beautiful. So now Benny Isles goes to Uncle Creepo's house and he's dead. And fucking Angel wrote in blood, was it good for you over the bed? Holy shit.
He's giving John Doe from Seven vibes
Yes,
here.
he really is. He really is. Like John Doe from Seven would be like slow clap, standing ovation. Buffy says that he's only making it easier and that she knows what she has to do. Kill him. We cut to the lair. And I just wrote, the judge looks so feeble.
He's walking around. He's got like
weird,
like old lady hands
And like a blanket wrapped around him like he's chilly.
he's got a shawl.
It's just so dumb.
Where's my wrap?
Yeah, it's so weird. So
Ask his grandson to help him figure out how to use his cell phone.
yeah, and so they are gonna go out, but Spike can't come because he's in a wheelchair. So Anne Slayage skips off.
And apparently the Sunnydale mall is not wheelchair accessible.
No.
Commentary.
So Xander brings what he stole from the army house to the library. And Jenny tries to help. And Buffy says, get out. And she says, I was only trying to help. And Giles says, She said, ouch.
These two can't seem to work it out because he's dealing with her in the same cold, like distant fuck you that she was giving him after the whole
I'd venture
demon
to say
shiz.
Jenny had more control over her actions than Giles did. Giles was answering for something that his teenage self did. Jenny has been actively, knowingly lying to their face.
Yeah.
Which, we know is more complicated than that, but from Giles' perspective, not pretty simple.
There's a lot of, for an episode not specifically called Lie to Me, there's a lot of fucking half-truths and withholding and dissembling going on here.
Yeah. So cut to the lair and they're gone already, but we see that Spike is listening in the corner to their plans.
And they're like, the bronze is closed, so if he's
So
trying
where
to
would
get
they
a
go?
big group of people, where else can he go?
And Oz is like, it's the 90s. I know where a big group of people always is.
Let's go to the mall, everybody!
So at the mall, the judge busts in with still wearing his little shawl
Mm-hmm.
and
His little Tyrannosaurus hands.
And then he burns somebody up and the minions capture the mall or whatever the fuck they do,
Spread out and do what? I don't know.
Yeah. So, but Buff Gizildeliaz marches off the elevator with a bazooka. And the judge is up there and he does a little lightning line of burns. Like he's like, ooh, I'm going to hook your lightning to your lightning and I'm going to do a whole thing. I don't have to do anyone one at a time.
She doesn't go right to the bazooka though. She shoots him with
a crossbow first to get his attention. He thinks that that's the weapon she brought and he's like, that's cute. And she's like, no, you're cute. And she pulls out the bazooka and Anzilla knows exactly what that is. And the judge says, what's that do? Well, it explodes ya.
And what's funny is that the Scoobies hide behind a glass case as though that's going to protect them from the blowback from a bazooka blast. I will say this. It's a fucking awesome moment. It's coin flip whether this was a jump the shark moment. It's so silly.
Yeah, except there was no shark in sight.
But they pulled it off.
They totally pulled it off. Just like Angel pulled off blowing that woman's smoke out of his mouth.
Similar move.
Yeah. Drusilla has a fucking temper tantrum in the best way. She's incredible. Buff tells the Scoobies to pick up the judge's pieces.
Cordelia's got the best line here.
We get the pieces. Our job sucks.
And so she goes after Drangel. And the sprinklers come on so that we get some drama, which I loved.
It's like the end of Lethal Weapon when the fire hydrant gets hit and the final fight happens on the lawn and they're being sprayed with all the fire hydrant water.
Why would you remind me of that fight in Lethal Weapon?
It's fucking great.
It's the
iconic.
Dumbest fucking scene I've ever seen in movie history.
I mean, just because the police all stand around and let the one cop have a karate fight with a guy in the yard rather than just arrest him.
Yes.
Okay, fair point.
I watched that movie with Eric and that scene, I think Eric was like waiting for me to kind of be like, isn't this exciting?
Because in general, the movie was better than you expected it to be and you liked it more than you thought
I
you
did.
would.
And then that scene, I was just like, get me out of here. The fucking little boy toxic masculinity that is this scene, I was choking on it.
Well, I was 12 when I saw it, so it's burned into my brain.
So that's the audience
Yeah.
for that scene is a 12-year-old.
But the water makes it epic, just like here.
Yes. So Angel fight, and it's a great fucking fight. Eric dissociated and had to point out that we could see her stunt double all the time. And I was like, man, just be along for the ride.
Sometimes
dude.
the camera is just on the stunt double for a good 10 Mississippi with no attempt to hide the face whatsoever.
If you're in the scene, man, you don't notice. So Angel has some great lines. He says, the important thing is that you made me the man I am today.
That victim blaming, that, again, the gaslighting. Before we even had a term for what that was.
Yeah.
any girl that's been in an abusive relationship, frankly, any person, but in our society, it tends to go one way.
Yeah.
Has experienced that.
Yeah. So Buffy gets Angel on the ropes. She pulls out her stake, but she can't do it. And he taunts her with it. All she can manage to do is kick him in the balls.
Yep. Drops him.
It's so undignified looking when a man gets kicked in the balls.
Makes a funny face.
You all make idiot. Do you all make dumb faces when you get? Let's try.
Pass.
Let's do an experiment. Yeah, I wrote. Do you all make that face?
Sure.
Next time you get kicked in the balls, I'm gonna pull my camera out and see. He says you can't do it, and she says, "Give me time," as she walks away.
Interesting parallel. Oz wants to kiss Willow, but it needs to be the right time. Buffy knows what she has to do, but she has to prepare for that as well. Parallels.
Yeah. So cut to Giles dropping Buffy off at home, and
another fucking phenomenal scene.
I have this entire scene. Spoiler alert. I have this entire scene for a superlative, so I'm not even going to read it right now. But all I'm going to say is,
stay tuned. In a few minutes, we're going to play the whole scene for you.
Hank could never.
And it's we have two examples of non-toxic, non-judgmental masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Oz, Giles, and you go like, fuck. So he actually wrote these really well too.
Yeah.
Which you go, is this the fucking? Is this the act he puts on to convince people he's not the guy that wrote the angel scene?
I don't even want to think about that part
We're
of
spending
it.
too much time on him.
Yeah.
But this is a fucking beautiful scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the last thing I'll say is, I think as much as we want, and especially in this day and age, and this is not me being an apologist by any stretch of the imagination, but we want things to be easy. We want our understanding of people to be black and white. We want to be able to put them very securely into one category or another. And the fact is that humans are gray.
Yeah.
They're all gray.
Doesn't excuse it, but it is, especially for the task before us here, there is a certain amount of compartmentalizing and separating the artist from the art.
Yeah.
To be able to, because one of the things we talked about when we were deciding whether we wanted to do this and draw more attention to him and all of this was like, there's a lot of people that work on this that did really fantastic work, and we shouldn't let his awful actions
ruin it for everybody else.
And now we stick this whole thing under a bushel and we never get to appreciate all the art that these actors, these other writers, these scenic, artists did.
Yeah, we're talking about the scenes that he wrote, blah, 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 blah. But you have less skilled actors doing it. It doesn't have the same impact. You know, it's a multifaceted job, and it's a
collaborative art form.
Yeah. So beautiful moment. And then we cut to Boyce is watching an old black and white movie, and the lyrics that the woman is singing as we pan up to Joyce bringing in cupcakes was just so apropos. It was heartbreaking. It was the final piece of my heart shattering.
My love, my moment with you now is ending.
This is a story I feel like I can tell because we know how it ended. But when Buffy's going through this, it's sort of like everywhere you look, there's just reminders. Everything seems to reflect your inner life. And I can cut this if we don't want to get into this, but I feel like it's a fun story.
It's fine.
So after we've been dating a few months, you actually broke up with me for a little bit. And I remember a buddy of mine took me out to a comedy show. I was feeling pretty raw about it. And it worked out. We reconnected after only a few days, and we've been together 16 years, so clearly it worked out. But we went to a comedy show, and the fucking guy on stage at the Hollywood Improv is like, anybody recently been through a breakup? And I clap, and I was the only one. He goes, oh, just the one guy? And I was just like,
oh my God.
Why is the world like picking on me? And that's how Buffy must be feeling.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But Buffy must be feeling like the world is picking on her, right?
Yeah. So Joyce comes in with cupcakes and she says, how was your birthday? Joyce clearly knows, but she's not prying. Buffy just says, I got older. Joyce says, you look the same to me, which is so sweet to hear from a mother because, like moms are seeing like their little baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells her to make a wish. And Buffy just says, I'll just let it burn. And Joyce doesn't say much, but like I was just like, the pain that a mother must feel to experience their child with that level of like hopelessness was just
bereft of even the ability to wish
conjure
for something good.
Yeah. So that's this episode. It was
it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, just hit all the right beats except for a weird smoke gag and a couple of clunky lines.
The smoke
But
gag was great.
We've welcome to the big bad of the season. Where is this going to go? Now I don't actually remember, but I do know that there are characters in our midst that aren't still around come season 5. And I'm just like, fuck, what is about to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's in that scene we talked about where Giles is comforting Buffy. He's been on board with this whole thing back during, I think it was season 1, out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of my mind, whatever. I can never remember what that fucking episode's called. He's like, a vampire in love with a slayer, kind of poetic. Like he's swept up in it. Even in this, he goes, Angel gave you lots of evidence that he really loved you.
Yeah.
He showed you many times that he really loved you. So Giles is really making the case for this was legit. You're not a fool. You didn't make a mistake. You had every reason to believe he was genuine. And I tend to believe he was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
This is the person that's fucking with you now is a demon. The person did love you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I wonder how long he's going to stay in that boat.
Yeah.
Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who did you have for best dressed?
Best dressed, I had, how much I love a wool trench coat.
Yes.
Buffy was rocking a brooding, life-battered detective's dark wool trench coat, and I was here for it.
I love that as well. I gave it to Drew in her red silky dress, which I couldn't tell if that was the same dress she wore to the party or not. In my memory, the dress she wore to the party last episode was more of a maroon, but it might just be it looked different on different TV screens. So I'll have to put up a compare and contrast to see if this was the same dress or just a similar dress. Who'd you have for worst dress?
Well, it was a tie. So at the very, very, very end, Willow is allegedly wearing a pair of brown corduroy overalls. That's fine. With an embroidered face of the Tasmanian devil on the front of it.
Why does it bug you so much?
It's so dumb. I hated it. It was so stupid. I don't like.
At least it's IP. It's not just like generic snowman or something.
I don't like it. I don't think I like people who wear the Looney Tunes. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it as a fashion choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not care for Xander's big Hawaiian shirt.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It felt out of place.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like, although he has worn those shirts, the shirts he's worn previously have been more like surfer shirts.
It felt too joyful. It felt like he should have been wearing it to Buffy's birthday party last week.
Oh, yeah. Fair. Oh, what'd you have for best line?
I'm going to do that last. Ask me another one.
Okay. What'd you have for worst line?
Worst line was a tie between
Dream on, schoolgirl.
and so does looking at guns really make girls want to have sex? What was your worst line?
My worst line was Angel's got Willow. Xander runs in and goes,
Don't do that. Oh, I think I do that.
Yeah, that was a clunko. There was a bunch of clunks in that scene, especially because the episode is so well written that they just bonk you on the head.
yeah, there would have been so many other alternatives you could have said there.
Yeah.
Or maybe I will.
Yeah.
Something, just some. This sounded like English. I would have preferred that.
Yeah. All right. Now I'll do my best line.
Okay.
So I have the whole little exchange from them in the car.
Do you want me to wag my finger at you and tell you that you acted rashly? You did, and I can. I know that you loved him. And he's proven more than once that he loved you. If it's guilt you're looking for, Buffy, I'm not your man. All you will get from me is my support. And my respect.
I just thought it was perfect. And I'm actually curious if Anthony Head has children.
Trivia crypt that.
Yeah,
We'll have to look that up. My best line is a little bit of a conflict. It comes right after that line that you hated. Because she says, does looking at guns make girls want to have sex?
Mm-hmm.
And then she turns it on Xander and says, does looking at guns make you want to have sex? To which Xander says, I'm 17, looking at linoleum makes me want to have sex. So I thought that was fun. That was great. I don't think the setup to that bugged me as much as it did you, but I can't argue with it. Once you point it out, it is a completely ridiculous
insane thing to say
for her to say.
Yeah.
But the other half of my tie is the very next scene, Willow and Oz in the truck. And Oz says,
So do you guys steal weapons from the army a lot?
Well, we don't have cable, so we have to make our own fun.
what'd you have for best move?
The judge doing his little lightning burn, doing his little assembly line of burns. I appreciated his efficiency.
All right. I chose the one I chose because I was sure you were going to pick the bazooka.
Oh.
And you did not. But I'm going to stick with this. Xander sneaking up on Angel with the cross and
great.
pulling Willow away. I thought was awesome.
Yeah, it was really great.
And then lastly, who did you have for most likely?
Most likely to win the best couples name contest. Waz.
I got most likely to be canceled in a stolen valor scandal, Xander.
Oh, yeah. That's the truth. All right.
That's all we got for you. Thanks for checking this out. Please leave a comment. Tell us your picks for best dress, worst dress, best and worst line, most likely, and best move.
And tell us when and how you dissociated from this episode.
Yeah, what was too uncomfortable for you? What did you do instead? What little minutia did you focus on to not have to feel things?
Yeah.
That's sort of my move. Please like this video, subscribe, click the notification bell if you're listening on a podcast app. 5-star rating, leave us a comment or a review there as well. And share this with a friend. Really, just either post this on your Facebook page or send this to somebody or just tell your friends, hey, you need to watch this. Like, it just helps us so much. We're just really trying to grow this thing here. We love all you guys. We're about to record our trivia crypt actually right after this. And we've got some comments that people left on the videos that get brought up in the Patreon minisodes. So, yeah, we can't thank you enough for spending some time with us. While you're at it, check out our other show. My ring just got caught. Check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive Maybe, co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns. I know, it's very accusatory. Produced by me, comes out every Wednesday on social media at KKSam Podcast. This show is on social media at Major Slayage Pod, and we're back next week for episode 15, which I don't even know. Oh, wait, is this one Phases?
I don't remember.
I think it's called Phases.
Okay.
What could that be referring to? My moon witch wife? Don't know. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, until then,
dust you later.